Oh, wow.
All right. We are live now.
Hey, we're live.
So let's see if some people start signing on. We're at 0 right now. So hopefully that progressively gets better.
Ooh, I hope so.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it's just it takes a few seconds to get everybody going. So like I said, we'll wait till we get somebody on here. I don't want to. Last week we were like looking at stuff and I was like, I forgot people were going to eventually be able to look back at this. I like how we have a comment but yet no viewers. Now we got a viewer.
Where's the comment?
Oh, well, not a comment, but it was somebody
like.
gave the thumbs up.
Yay for that.
Oh, I think it takes Facebook a while to like catch up on what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we got 5. It's going up.
Yeah, it'll go from like 0 to like 50, and you're like, "What are you doing?"
That's great. That's great.
All right. So Raymond Garcia said hello. Do you see that?
No.
On your end?
Oh, I can now. Hi.
Okay. I didn't know if you could see what came up other than me posting it. So.
Hey, Ray.
Well, whatever you did, I can see it now. So hi.
Yeah,
Ray.
if I click on it. So everybody, we see everybody's name, so you shouldn't have to tell it this week.
Hi, Lisa.
Lisa says hello, everybody. We got 18 people now.
Nice.
So.
Hi, Trina. Glad you guys are on with us tonight.
Oh, hi, Trina.
Yeah.
I know her.
Do you? Good. Yeah. Awesome. Hopefully we'll get some more up on here in a minute.
I want my hair purple like yours. That's just what I keep looking at is your hair. I just want
it looks purple kind of on here, but it's more of a more red, like more of a magenta.
Oh, okay. Well, either way.
It's you know what? It's different colors and different lights. But thank you. I loved when my hair was purple and my hair was pink and
I can't do anything with my hi Whitney. My hair is so dark that I don't want to ruin it by like getting it light enough to do that.
Yeah.
But I have a shitload of grays coming in. So we'll just wait.
Well, you have very beautiful hair, so.
Well, thanks. Soon I'll be like completely white and then I'll just do it crazy colors.
It's a lot of fun.
Thanks for watching from Australia.
Hi, guys.
Oh,
hey, Xavier.
Hi.
Thanks.
So we're up to about 31
Good day.
now.
How's that? Good day, mate. Good day, mate. Was that terrible, Hayden? Was that terrible? Oh. He probably fell off his chair. Like, yeah, I'm done. Thank you, Shelly. We are so glad that you're listening to the shows and glad you joined us today. We love you guys.
Yeah, so we got a few on. We got 33 on now, so I guess.
Hi, Josh. Where's my baby?
Oh,
I love you, Josh. Where's my baby? Tell him I said hello. Hi, Tina. How are you, sweetheart?
I wonder how fast I'm going to get through this wine.
Now we're going to be on here for about an hour, so you better pace yourself.
Oh, you can take
more.
Take a break. That's what I was going to say. She can take a break and get her more.
Pace myself.
Oh, look. See, Hayden said sounds good. You're very kind, Hayden.
It sounds great.
Maybe Hayden's got some of that wine.
Well, good for him.
Hey, Mark.
All right, so we got about 44 people on, so we'll go ahead and start.
Yay, 44.
They may not get any higher. Now it's at 49, so who knows?
Well, I hope it does.
All right, so guys, now it's at 55. This is just awesome.
We're going to hit 100. We're going to hit 100. Watch.
We did the first show. The first show we had about 110. Last week we got up to about 70 something.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
75.
Rachel and Chrissy.
But then we had like 2,000 people that watched the video afterwards. So
you know what?
Yeah.
That is so amazing. You guys are the most bestest ever. Like, seriously. You guys are awesome.
It's fun to see how supportive people are.
Yes, it is.
There's so many clicking up on the screen. I love it.
What? Hi, Marcos. Why'd you say poop, Josh?
I was like, why are we talking about poop? What's happening?
Are you about to send me a picture of your poop?
Don't do that.
My son's very proud of his poop.
all right, so let's get it. First of all, thanks to everybody who's tuning in. I know it's a Saturday night. I would say you got better things to do, but we all know you don't since you're on quarantine. And we're going to try to do this every Saturday night and have some special guests on. This week, we've got the beautiful Shelbie Martin from Utah.
Hi.
And Shelbie has a new podcast. A lot of you probably know her from Heckle and Shad. She's been on the show before. And I will say this, your appearance was a tad bit controversial when you were on before, only because you are a practicing witch. And I did not know this at the time. This is how I found out that there are several different types of practicing witches, and some agreed with some of your methods, some didn't. And some of that had to do with curses and spells and stuff like that. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. You have a new podcast, and tell everybody about the new podcast.
The new podcast is called Wicked Whispers. And this go round, we're going to be taking a lot more time to delve deeper into specific episodes. We've got a variety of things. We've got Jack the Ripper, polygamy, clans, different things like that going on. So kind of bounces around between conspiracies, cults, weird things, you know.
Cool. So like you said, this is going to be different than Heckle and Shad. Will the language be the same? Because your show
you mean will I swear a lot and make sexual references? 100%.
Okay.
All the time.
I just wanted to see which direction we were going to go into.
Yeah. There was an episode we just did. I think it actually just aired, and I made a reference to something, and it came out of my mouth so fast, and I was like, "Oh goddamn!" And I just left it in there. You know, what do you do?
I mean, yeah, seriously.
It says explicit. It says explicit on everything that's listed. So
that is true. I mean, you can say it sometimes, but you know, we still have those ones that I go, "Oh, I didn't hear it."
Is it Rachel? I live in Harriman. I grew up in West Jordan, but I now live in Harriman. So about 30 minutes from where you grew up, from West Valley.
Oh, cool.
Oh, and you're a witch. Yay! Sorry. Oh, I have. I've been to Witches 3 in Magna. That's where I get some of my herbs. Sorry, guys.
No, you're fine. You're allowed to do that, please. I always want to try to
So on your new podcast, it's fair to let everybody know that you're just really getting started on this one. So there's not a lot of episodes out at the moment.
There's 2 episodes out at the moment. We drop every Wednesday. So there's another one coming up, and so on and so on. So
obviously, if you're watching this or listening to this live, go sign up for it and leave a nice review after you've listened to it. I'm sure they would appreciate it.
Yeah, she definitely would.
Now, let's talk about some of the controversial stuff.
Oh, cool. Wait, what? I always cause issues. I don't know what's happening.
Well, it wasn't like people were, burning down our house and trying to, threatening to not listen if you were on. But you were a little bit different in the fact of, first of all, you like to post pictures and videos of your daughter, who is 3, doing witchy type stuff, inside of pentagrams or whatever the case may be. And
it was a protection ring of salt, but yeah.
Either way.
I get you, girl.
People have a tendency to look at that, and some people would just think when kids are involved, they don't look at witches as a religion or whatever the case would be, where you would look at it as, hey, you don't see anything wrong. This is the way you worship, or however that may be. And it's no different than a Catholic sending their kid to church at 3 years old. So talk a little bit about first of all, on what your, as far as being a witch, as far as you're concerned, what that means.
With myself or with involving my children?
No, with yourself first, as far as what you believe and why you have no problem bringing your children into the same belief system.
Because ultimately what I live by and practice and teach my children is the simplest form of the law of attraction. You pray for what you need, and you thank the universe or whoever you're talking to or praying to for the things that you have in your life. And when you break it down to the simplest form, that's what it is. It's energy. It's good and bad. And I forever want my children to understand that you will always need to be thankful for the things that you have. Don't ever take it for granted. Don't ever be a snob about it. Be thankful for it and give thanks for it. Good. And then if you have something that you are desiring, and I don't let them request physical items very often. It's very much, help me with growth here, help me with mental growth here, help me with this there. Because I want them to grow spiritually and mentally far more than I want them to have it pounded in their head that they need to grow materialistically. And you know, that to me, that's where I'm at with it. That's how I practice it mostly. Unless someone pisses me off, but whatever. That I obviously don't involve my children in. That's going to be their own choice. My husband, for example, the other day, he decided that he wanted to celebrate Palm Sunday. My husband was raised Catholic and went to a Catholic school. So we kind of do have to blend our belief systems for the children.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's pretty cool myself.
And speaking of your husband, thank him for his service for us.
Absolutely. Yes,
I will.
please.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, Whitney.
Right. So as far as, let's talk a little bit about, you said in case, unless somebody pisses you off, that was one of the things that was kind of controversial because you had mentioned something about curses. And I don't remember exactly all the details of the one, but you had given some details about one particular one or why you did it. And like I said, I don't remember all the details of that, but I know some people who were practicing witches then responded back after the show and said, hey, I don't think that you should ever use the curses. I don't think that's something you should do. And then other people wrote and said that they were completely okay with it. So tell me your thoughts.
So here's the thing. Wiccans are more prone to believe in the law of three, and that you don't do that because whatever you put out, you get back immediately or threefold.
Oh.
So it's not that I'm not aware of it. It's just not exactly what I practice. I have the utmost respect for people that practice that and believe that, and I would never ask them to cast a curse or delve into anything that they didn't want to do. The beauty of this for me and the people that I've come across is there is no specific way to practice your own craft. And I love talking to, learning from, and dealing with people that believe in all different kinds of things when it comes to witchcraft. My intention is never to offend. It is always to grow and learn. So for me personally, I do not follow some of the Wiccan laws because I'm not Wiccan. I am a witch. So I will do curses if I feel that it is necessary. And for me and the witches like me that I hang out with, that's something that you've earned, and we're going to help karma push its way through. And if you have caused that much pain and that much whatever towards a situation, I'll come for you. But again, there are things that a lot of witches like myself put in place to make sure that we're okay. I wouldn't just decide that some guy cut me off on the road when I was driving and, oh, he's getting cursed today. No, like, no.
Yeah.
No, it's not anything like that. So and it takes a lot to get me to consider it. And even then, I have to go from there and find out.
If I remember correctly, and this goes back, I think it's been like almost 2 years since you've been on the show.
Yeah.
But I think the situation involved like a girlfriend who had an abusive boyfriend or a husband or something like that. Mm-hmm. So give me an example of, if you know the one I'm talking about and can share something, give me an example on when you would use a curse.
So for that situation, I wouldn't even use a curse. It would be more of what I would call like a truth bind or revelation or something in that sense, to let them see the truth and the magnitude of what was really happening so that they could decide then themselves to escape. Now, if I was going to go down the road of a curse, it would have to be somebody who would have been put in prison or on trial for something pretty horrific. For example, I have a friend of mine, unfortunately, she lost her sister to something awful.
I'm sorry.
And I have no problem going after him with a curse.
Fair enough.
And it just depends. Like for that, I will do something. I'm not going to curse your boyfriend because he broke up with you and took your favorite pair of shoes. Like, no, I don't give a crap. Everybody has that problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. No, so, I totally understand that. And he had it coming, right?
So Chris says, where I come from, they burn witches, burn witch, burn.
Hey, you know what? Light it up. Let's either light my cigarette or we'll make some s'mores on the fire. I love s'mores. I love s'mores.
it.
You know, it's funny because I know a lot of people, when they think witches, you always hear about witches being burned at the stake, but the majority of witches were actually hanged. They weren't really burned. There were some, but it wasn't like this overwhelming way of killing witches back in the day when the trials were over.
No.
Gosh, I've already learned so much already. This is so interesting.
All right, so let's learn some more.
Thanks, Rachel.
I'm constantly seeing you post videos or pictures of you making moon water. Mm-hmm. Tell me what this is for, and when do you actually do this? When do you make moon water, and what's the purpose of it?
So you can make moon water anytime. I like to specifically make moon water with a full or new moon because it's the most powerful. It has the highest charge. Now with that, you can do a lot of things. I make my sage sprays and mix it with the moon water. If I have like high anxiety or I've had a day where I've just, when you're around people and you just feel heavy with emotions, I'll pour some of the moon water into a bath and I'll just take a bath and let it like cleanse everything. I will mix it with my coffee. If I'm feeling something like depressed, if I'm going through a stage of like depression or something like that, I will run the moon water through my coffee machine and I'll just stir my coffee to the right and cast my intentions to have like a good day with high vibrations and like good thoughts, positive energy and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make
super simple. All you do is I use mason jars. I have so many of them. My husband tells me to stop buying them, but I'm not gonna. Anyway, you put them in a mason jar or a glass bowl, stick it outside under the moonlight. Some people get specific, and I do. With each jar, I cast a specific intention. And then you leave it out overnight. You need to bring it inside before the sun comes up, and that's it.
Oh, wow.
Is it just tap water, or do you use certain water?
If you cannot get spring water or mountain water or something like that, I always suggest filtered water or bottled water, because if you're going to be drinking it or consuming it like I do with my coffee, I don't want you to,
Okay. Chrissy Ann said, what made you decide to study witchcraft?
Honestly, I don't even think anything made me I had a lot of stuff going on when I was younger. I was seeing things, hearing things, going through stuff. And I think I just started to research what was going on with me personally. And I started to find, okay, well, I can channel some of this into this type of prayer or this type of candle magic or this type of situation. And it just overall was the best fit for who I am and what I do. And I constantly tell people the term witch is so broad. There's so many different types and it's super hard to put a label on. But I was seeing things and hearing things. So down the rabbit hole of research I went.
There you go.
Yeah, I know a lot of broads that are witches. Is that what you meant? I know a lot of broads that are witches.
Oh, God.
Have some more wine. Rachel says moon water is more powerful for me when I put a rose quartz in it, especially on a full moon or a new moon.
So you can. Fun fact, if you want to use your moon water because you're having a lot of bad thoughts or negative energy or anxiety, throw some onyx in there or some amethyst, and then you can take it out and like legitimately, I will take a shot of just like the moon water and imagine it moving through my body and all the negative energy leaving me. So there's a lot of different things you can put in the moon water.
Wow. I need some of that stuff now.
I can't even tell you half the time when a full moon or a half moon or
I don't know how you don't know. Boy, I know. Whew.
Oh, we know. And my daughter's obsessed with the moon. She'll every night. So I have it. Listen, I cheat a little bit. Okay. I have an app on my phone and it goes off and it's like, bing, bing, the moon's in Sagittarius or the moon's in Leo. And I'm like, I'm going to get you.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
So Brett says, when and where did the broom riding thing come about?
I don't know. I have no idea.
No.
I don't know. I know that if you hang a broom above your door, it's supposed to be good luck and protect you from people coming in.
I've heard that.
Yeah, witch's suspicion. And I like, there's a lot of different things I do specifically. If there's a ring around the moon, I know certain things. Like if a broom drops, you're going to have, like, there's different things that come with that. And from me and myself, like, they have held true. So if a broom falls, usually somebody from your life and or past is going to visit in some way. They're going to try and contact you or communicate with you. So, which is why it's called an unwanted visitor. So it drops and scares you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Hey,
I don't know.
Sorry.
I know Jessica from Shoes, Booze, and Tattoos has actually covered that, and I can't remember. It's not as literal as it sounds, because really, but it had something to do with the brooms and stuff back in the day, and but yeah, I can't remember exactly the story, but I'll have to get with her on that, and then I'll hit you up, Brett.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I knew. I'm sorry. Just because I'm a witch doesn't mean I know all the things.
Hey, Bo and Melissa and Christopher's from Germany. Hi, guys.
Thanks, Wes. Thanks. That's good to know.
Wes from Sasquatch Chronicles, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Wes.
Did you? He could look past the witchcraft. I do drink wine.
All right. So, what other questions that I have? So let's talk a little bit about crystals.
Okay.
I'm not one of those people who uses crystals. There's other people who swear by crystals. If people are unfamiliar with the whole aspect of crystals, just give us a brief description on how crystals can help out or what the belief process is of it.
Basically, the crystal is there to absorb the energy of a situation. Where it's amethyst, it absorbs things that are in the way so that you're able to communicate with the other side more easily. Onyx is there to absorb negative energy so you're able to move about your day more positively. That's why when you have a crystal of any kind, they tell you to cleanse it. For that, you would put it underneath the moonlight. So in the windowsill on a full moon or something like that. It actually ties into the moon water. There, for me personally, I've had crystals actually shatter because they've been overly charged.
Oh, wow.
Or, yeah, I've had bracelets completely snap off of me. So if you have an overly crappy day and you can't wait until the full moon to cleanse your crystals, you can actually throw it in one of the glass jars of moon water. And that moon water that's absorbed the energy will cleanse it. And you can get it out and wear it again.
Oh, cool. That's very cool.
How far back does the moon water thing go? I don't mean with you in general, but I mean, because I'm sure that only goes back a certain, but I'm sure that's been around way longer than you. Where does this come about? Does this come back from pagan times? Does it come from, give me an idea. Do you even know?
No. I mean, the thing is there's a lot of things I do know that go back, but there's a lot of witches that find things that resonate with them and then they work with that specifically. It was brought to my attention when I myself needed something to help me in those in-between times between each moon when I needed a little bit more of like a pick-me-up, if that makes sense. And I found the moon water. And then I checked with a witch that I speak to who's quite a bit older than me, who's been doing this for obviously a lot longer than me. And so, she kind of walked me through it a little bit. I'm far more inclined to trust generational witches and people that have been practicing in personal experience rather than Google.
Yep.
So,
Shelby, name of your podcast again.
Wicked Whispers.
That's a cool name.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I was drinking wine when I came up with it.
Good job.
So we know it's a winner.
All right, so obviously we host a paranormal show, and you guys touch on some paranormal and stuff occasionally. I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. So you know how to properly sage a house. That's what
Yes.
a lot of people, I see a lot of people that are like, hey, I've got something in my house. Somebody will tell them to sage it. And then they're completely lost as to what to do from that point. Give us a rundown of the best proper way to sage a house for different situations.
Okay. So before I explain to you guys how to sage a house, I will say this. If you sage a house or a space and the energy does not remove itself or continues, it was a higher level entity.
Ooh.
Sage being used for higher level entities can actually agitate them. It would be like me running up to you and just blowing cigarette smoke in your face and you being like, what are you doing? And it irritating you. So sage, I always advise for people to use kind of as a 1, cleanse the space of negative energy, 2, test your ground, see where you're at. If it's higher level, sage won't do it. But to sage your house, you start in the northeast corner and move around the ceiling. Everybody kind of comes up with their own chant. Mine is something along the lines of like, only love and light is welcome here, over and over again as I sage is sort of what I say mentally. There are very specific things you can say if there is a more aggressive entity in the home, but that's all in my book of shadows somewhere. So you just move around and everywhere, under tables, open cabinets, closets, everywhere. A proper sage takes quite a while and your house will be super smoky. Once you are finished, you need to open a window or a door and let the smoke escape. Because if you do not do that, the negative energy is just going to resettle, just like the smoke. So you have to open the doors and the windows and let it get sucked out of the house so it drags all of that outside.
So as soon as you're done with that, you go ahead. I mean, you don't have to leave it in there for a certain amount of time before you open the windows. Okay, that's good to know. I
always open it right after and just let everything get sucked out.
Oh, okay.
And
sometimes I'll even put the fan on. Just make sure it goes in the right direction. Yeah.
Where would someone get sage? Where's the best place to buy it if they don't have a local place? Or where would you suggest to?
If you don't have a local witchy shop, at Amazon.
Oh, I wouldn't even thought of that.
Yeah, because like we don't have a place in Lexington at all.
Yeah, you can buy it in bundles, and sometimes you can get a complete smudge stick, or you can get a shell that comes with it, and you can drop a couple leaves into the shell and waft it with a feather.
Oh, that's what what's her face does. Blondie, you said looks like me.
Dolly
the medium.
Parton?
No.
I wish I was closer to
Caputo. That's what she does.
Teresa.
Oh, Teresa Caputo. Yeah.
I can think where's my altar.
I'd show you guys.
Yeah.
I have some really cool stuff over there.
You mentioned your book of shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Tell everybody what a book of shadows is if they're unfamiliar.
Okay, so nowadays you can find books of shadows online, and it's just a compilation of different spells and different things like that. For many witches, the book of shadows is super personal. For me, I write a lot of my own spells. So if my son is having a nightmare, it's specific to that situation, or my son. Obviously, there's a generic version, but stuff like that. So I will put it into my book of spells. Mm-hmm. So it's a huge book with how different star signs behave, with how to do moon water, on which moon cycle is the best to do what version of moon water for what spell, which drinks are best to drink with what herb to invoke different kinds of energy as you're working on spells. So it's just a huge pile of different things like that. Different colors for like power colors for people to help them through different times or situations, different crystals that connect with different star signs to help them with depression or just super detailed stuff.
Brett said that it has to be white sage, correct?
Yes. Sorry.
I don't even. Well, oh yeah, I guess I did know it was white sage. Yeah.
Well, I have one that's white sage, and then I have one over there that is it's white sage, but it has dragon's blood incense mixed with it.
Oh,
but house ghost, I want to say he's awesome, but I have a lurker, like shadow figure, I want gone. Yeah, so you can try saging for that and just tell the lurker if he's not doing things that are making you uncomfortable necessarily, maybe just say like, okay, your presence makes me uncomfortable. I need you to leave. And if at that point he doesn't, then you probably got to escalate from there.
Okay, Wes, let's get down to business. How much is it going to cost me to have to put a curse on the Confessionals podcast with Tony Merkel?
Oh.
Well, I mean, as I stated previously, I don't do curses unless it's really necessary. I can put them in a bind for you, but even then, that's shitty. You know what I mean? Like, why?
All right, so give me some ideas of. I'm sure you've tried to help some people, get rid of some entities or something in their house. with some sage, and give me some ideas of some cases that you've kind of tried to help with that were extremely tough.
So we're friends with a police officer, and he actually called me about a year ago, and he was like, I need you to meet me at the station. And I was like, first of all, no. Like, I don't know what you want me at the station for. He was like, no, I'm serious. There's a lady who's been calling saying that there's something throwing things around in her house. Like, we went in the house. It's nothing. I told the whole area that I know someone who can do this. Like, can you come down here? And I was like, okay. So I went down there, and long story short, her 14-year-old daughter had decided that she wanted to contact her grandmother and had done it through a Ouija board. And yeah, she had let something else into the house. So I had to get the entity kind of like back in the board and then shut the board down so that everything didn't come back out.
That's so scary.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What are your thoughts on Ouija boards, since we're talking about it now?
Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't ever do it. Lower level energy is what comes through on a Ouija board. If you want to communicate with your grandmother or somebody that you've lost in that sense, I would never recommend a Ouija board ever.
Good girl.
They're possession boards. Okay, let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
If you want to catch possession, play with a Ouija board.
See, that was one of the other things that people had some issues with, because we talked about that on the show. And I've got a couple of other friends that are also practicing witches that use Ouija boards on a regular basis. And they were like, that's not true. That's her opinion. Blah, blah,
you know
blah,
what?
blah.
It is 1,000% my opinion. But lucky for me, I'm entitled to have it. I don't have anything against people that use them. I would never want them used in my home, ever. If a witch is using it, that's fine. That is her situation. That's her practice, his or her, I guess. And that's fine. For me, I communicate with spirits differently. I don't need a Ouija board. Any situation I've had with a Ouija board, starting, I think the first run-in I had with a Ouija board, I was 16. The first run-in I had. And my sister she's 3 years younger than me. So 13, she was 13. Called me screaming, and I couldn't understand what the hell she was saying. She was at a sleepover. I knew where she was, so I went to the house, and she was in the corner rocking back and forth screaming, saying that our mom was like on fire in the corner, which was not true. But yeah, so that was my first run-in, and at that point I just
wow, terrifying.
Here's a question. Have you ever heard of imps? What does this mean?
Emps, as in like empaths? I've heard of empaths being shortened to emps, but I don't know what that word means necessarily, unless she means fairy.
Yeah, Lisa, give us a little more information on that, and we'll get back to that one.
Imps.
That's
Hey,
probably
Leah.
this is from KM, so that's so have you heard of that one?
No, not really. I want to say it's somewhere in the realm of the fairy stuff.
That's what I was thinking too, as far as imps. I was thinking fairy.
Yeah. Which, for that situation, I've had weird stuff happen. But other than that, no.
But let's talk about your fairy experiences, or fae realm.
Fae realm. Honestly, this is the only run-in I've ever had with it. It was super weird. I was pregnant with my last child, and I had a dream that I was camping, and I had walked to a stream, and then some like firefly looking things were dancing around. So I followed them, and then somehow I ended up somewhere else, and it was beautiful, and they were all dancing around, and they were a little bit smaller than me. And then something approached me quickly, and they got really, really angry and stepped in to like protect me in like this weird shield type of thing. And that was it. And then I woke up. But my youngest daughter, the one I dreamt this with while I was pregnant, I have photos of her. And still to this day, she's 3 months old now. She has pointy fairy ears.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
We thought that it might go away over time,
And
but
it still has not. Oh
she has
man.
these tiny little pointy fairy ears, and they are just at this point at the top.
And she had a very adorable shirt on today, and I'll just leave it at that.
It's so cute. But yeah, so I don't know. Like, that's the only run-in I've ever had with anything like that, even in a dreamscape. And then she was born with those ears, and I've never had anything happen since.
All right, so Lisa got back with us. She says imps, that's in travel, and then she responds with frequency.
The only travel I have done and or practice is astral projection. And oh God, what is it called? There's astral projection and the other one. There's another travel you can do while you're awake. And I can't think of what it's called. Remote viewing, that's what it's called. Remote viewing and astral projection are the ones that I have done and practice with. So for what you're talking about, I do not know.
Hey, Candace, she's watching from the Philippines. Just wanted to say hi.
Nice. And oddly enough, this Sunday's show, tomorrow night show, is on out-of-body experiences.
Yeah.
So we'll cover a little bit of astral projection in that.
Well, I had to learn how to do astral projection because my son did it and it scared the shit out of me.
What? Oh.
Tell us a story. Don't just.
Oh, yeah,
don't
you
just
have to do that now.
Feed us a little tidbit and act like we're not going to ask you what the rest of it is.
Well, okay, so I have okay, here we go. All right. So my husband obviously was gone when I gave birth to our youngest daughter because he's military. He wasn't here. And I woke up in the middle of the night because I would have sworn he was in my bedroom. I saw like a shadow of a figure standing there. I sat up and I called his name and everything, and he wasn't there. And then he texted me. I hadn't said anything. He texted me and he was like, I woke up so many times last night because I could hear a baby cry. And then my son came to me that next morning, again, without any of us communicating about it, and asked me what kind of barracks his dad was staying in and like described his room almost to a T and told me like where his dad was. And somehow throughout the whole night, like all three of us had like seen each other, heard each other, and like done it all in the middle of the night, and none of us had known.
That is awesome. That's so cool.
So that
give me cold chills.
No,
That's so cool.
I journal a lot so that this kind of stuff doesn't get forgotten as the years go on.
Oh wow.
Do you use any tools to communicate with the other side, pendulum or anything of the sort? I have used pendulums to help others start to trust what they're seeing and hearing and start to build a foundation. I personally do not use them. But like I said, I've taught people like, okay, like I'll ask them a question or show them a picture and I'll make them write down their initial instincts and what they see and feel. And then I'll put that away and I'll put the paper away and the photo, and then I'll make them do it with a pendulum because for some reason, visually seeing a yes and a no swing back and forth makes somebody feel more confident. So then I'll let them do that second and then go back and go through and let them realize that they themselves, without any tool, came to that same conclusion, because I'm a firm believer in teaching people to trust themselves and be their strongest tool.
I mean, I would think they have to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
Oh.
So do we have time for me to
sorry.
No offense, Jerry, but you look like Uncle Fester from the old Addams Family TV show.
I love that show so much.
He gets that a lot, Marcos.
Yeah, no offense taken. No offense.
He gets it a lot, yeah. Hey, Sierra. Hey, Brad.
All right, so I've got a little story to tell. It's just a little, I think it's a cool story. It's not true or anything, but here's the situation. So you're on empty. You can go ahead and get you another one if you'd like while I tell my story.
Yeah, because it's gone. It's gone right now. It's fine.
You can fill up if you want. I'm just going to be
up.
taking a few seconds to tell a story.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go grab my box of wine because I'm super classy like that. It's fine.
So, okay, these couple of guys, they're young teenagers. They're going to go into a cemetery to kind of sneak and do what teenage boy stuff do. They get into the cemetery and they notice that there is a freshly dug grave, and then there's a smell coming from it that just. It smells exactly like you would think it was, like maybe there was some kind of body buried there. So they call the police.
Oh my God. Okay.
The police come out. There's 3 police officers. They check with the caretaker of the cemetery. He said there shouldn't be anybody freshly buried in that part of the cemetery. Damn, it's loud.
Sorry. I'm like trying to pour it down here like while you're talking. Sorry.
So anyway,
I'm almost done. It's fine.
You're fine. Go ahead.
The caretaker said, hey, there shouldn't be anybody buried in that part of the cemetery. So the cops go over there, and of course, it's a freshly dug grave. They start digging a little bit to find out what's going on, and mainly because there were 3 young ladies who were missing.
Oh.
They went missing together. They start digging, and of course, it's obvious after they dig a little bit that there's some bodies down there. They finish digging, and it becomes painfully obvious this is the 3 ladies they're looking for because they're dressed in the same clothes. So the guys get on the horn. They're the 3 cops. They're calling, and they're trying to get the other cops out there to get some backup. They turn around, and one of the bodies is missing.
Wait.
So there were 3 bodies there. Now two of them are there. One of them is missing. So 2 of the police officers, they leave one guy to sit and watch the whole thing. And they go off, and they're kind of looking around. They come back. When they come back, they notice there's only 1 body there. So now 2 of the bodies are missing. And then they say, okay, we're going, to search around because somebody's taking these bodies. It's probably the killer. He's probably still here. And now he's trying to get rid of the evidence. So now they got 1 police officer there and 1 body. He hears something rustling around and it sounds like water. And then he looks in there and he says, okay, there's a decorative pond back behind here. I feel stupid. Now, whoever this is taking these bodies and they're taking them through the pond. So that's why we didn't see what was happening, because it was right behind where the bodies were buried. The pond was. He gets into the pond and he kind of ducks down because he can see the body. He gets to where the body is. He ducks down there underneath the water, and he can see the body actually walking through the pond.
Holy crap.
He gets out. The other cops show back up. They get in. They look all through the pond. They can't find anybody. Now all 3 bodies are missing. And he's just left to say, hey, I know what I saw. And they didn't believe him at first. But, at the same time, what are you going to do? Now all 3 bodies are missing. And he's the only witness that saw anything. So anyways, I thought that was a cool story.
That's whack.
Is that a true story?
I don't know if it's true or not. I just know that was a story I heard. Whether it's true or not, I have no idea.
He's been
I don't like it. Hey, me too.
Hey, Ty.
It's weird.
Oh my gosh. That's like.
No, I was listen, you guys, I have a box wine. Okay. Do you see this? You see this box wine? I was pouring myself some more wine.
Good for you.
All right, Shelby. Tell us a little bit about how people can keep up with you on social media.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, I have a Facebook that's under Shelby Lenora, or you can follow Wicked Whispers on Instagram or on Facebook. It's just kind of all linked. I post a lot of it on my personal page, which would be Shelby Lenora.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
But it's Shelby with I-E, not Y.
Oh, well, see, that's probably a good thing you said that.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions out there?
Yep. We're going to wrap this up
in TV land.
So if anybody's got any more questions, go ahead and get them in there. Shelby, do you have any stories you'd like to share while we're waiting on
I have so many stories. I have so many weird things that have happened to not only me, but others around me. I think the most strange situation I myself have been put in was there was somebody who was, I don't even like saying the word, she was murdered. And I was able to communicate with it the night it happened. It all started coming in super fast. And I was able to reach out to the family because I know them and help find a few things to help with the investigation. We're still waiting for it to go to court. It's still in the midst of all that jumble. But I think that's the strangest one I've had.
That is so... I just can't even fathom somebody being able to do that.
It scared the shit out of me. I was upstairs in my bedroom and I was doing some candle magic stuff because it was a full moon. And I don't normally see things physically. I don't like to. So when you work with your spirit guides, once you make those connections, you can start to set up boundaries and receive messages how you're most comfortable. And I did not like to physically see them, but she was the first girl I'd physically seen in the corner of my room, and I freaked out.
I mean, how do you deal with that, though, being that it was somebody that you knew? I mean, I can say it's probably a blessing if you can really help them, of course, but I mean, that has to be tough.
It was more tough relaying the messages to her family than it was for me to visually see her, because I was able to know and understand that it wasn't, she fought the whole way out. Like it didn't just happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I was able to see things that made me feel more comfortable about it. So relaying it to the family was the harder part.
I can't even imagine.
I do not work with ley lines. I know about ley lines, but I do not work with ley lines.
What are ley lines? I don't know what that is.
Ley lines are energetic points throughout the world in different places around the world. For example, we have Skinwalker Ranch up here in Utah. It actually lands on a ley line.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
a more energetic pulse and different things like that.
Oh.
They're super hot spots, and they trigger in certain areas.
Raymond said, is your daughter still seeing grandma?
Yes, she does. She does still see my Okay, so not just a couple of days ago was actually when my mother passed away, and my daughter was asleep, and it was like 1 a.m, and she woke up singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which was one of my mom's favorite songs. So she 1,000% still does the grandma situation.
Oh.
The way that we're teaching our children both beliefs is that, how do I even explain this? Basically what it comes down to is we teach them to respect themselves and any other type of practice or religion. Whatever somebody is doing to make themselves feel more connected to a higher power, no matter who it is, what they call it, what they don't call it, that to us is the most important, because fundamentally we want people to be connected to themselves and their souls on a higher level. Yes, I do have 13 tattoos. Those are tattoos that you see. I don't know where you're seeing. I don't know how you're seeing them. I don't know what the hell.
I mean, I know you got them, but everything's covered up right now.
Yeah, like I must have gone like that. Like I have this tiny little speckle you can see. But yes, I do have tattoos.
You've got don't you have the Union Jack? Or is it a British tattoo?
Yeah, hold on. I'll pull it out. Give me a second. You can see that.
Oh.
Shelby was born
That
over
is
in the UK.
beautiful.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the camera in the right spot, but it's not.
I know it's hard to do, isn't it?
Oh my God. What is happening? There we go.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And then that one down there.
That's cool.
That's me and my husband have that one matching. But yeah, I have quite a few tattoos.
Jerry won't get no tats.
No.
Why?
I don't like needles, period.
What a puss. Love you though.
Whatever.
It's out.
Jerry Gordon on the older episode. What did you cover on the older episode?
Ley lines.
Oh, okay.
I forbid she remembered that we actually did a story on something that covered ley lines.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh. Well, I think I remember, but I just forgot.
Matter of fact, I think we just covered ley lines on the Archer Avenue episode that was like 2 weeks ago.
I was saying it wasn't too long ago, was it?
Girl, it don't matter.
I agree.
I'm telling you, it just goes right out.
No, I had an offer. I had an offer to go. One of the people that listened to my old podcast that's come over to my new podcast actually offered for me to go up to Skinwalker Ranch because they work up in that area.
Oh, cool.
No, I'm not.
No,
going.
not cool. Oh, you're not going.
No, it scares the crap out of. Hey, first of all, I have tattoos. It's not needles.
That's right.
It's freaky shit. Okay?
Yeah.
If I had a tattoo, it would say, I went to Skinwalker Ranch and you didn't. So,
Aww.
You know what? Get that tattoo and I'll go to Skinwalker Ranch. How about that?
There you go. It sounds like a good deal to me.
How do you cope with experiences like that? Like what? Like
this went back to when you were talking about the story about your murdered friend.
Oh, it's fine. I ran downstairs and got 2 shots of tequila. Then, then I went on a walk outside and I had to like clear my head, and I had a friend with me and she took me on a drive and we kind of just drove around while I communicated with the family and relaxed myself.
Well, you're very strong. I don't know if I could do that.
Why do you think I drink wine?
There you
As
go.
you can the shot glasses between your legs and pour like that.
Probably. You know what? Now I want to try it just to see if I can. But I wonder if I could. But you're probably right.
Well, this has been fun, Shelby.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah, it has been fun. An hour's passed way faster than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, I don't like it when it goes that fast myself.
Well, it hadn't been an hour yet, but usually what happens as soon as we say we're going to go, we get like 5 more questions. So I'm just planning ahead.
Smart.
But for those of you who are watching, next week we're going to have Diane Student on from History Goes Bump. And the week after that, we're going to have Matt and Adam from Graveyard Tales.
I'm excited for that one.
Good.
I'm excited.
So it's going to be fun. So, well, Shelby, I think that wraps it up. It's been fun. We're glad to have you on as our guest.
Thanks.
It's
been fun.
You're great. We appreciate it.
It's been fun to talk to you guys instead of hear you guys in my ear.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I have learned a lot today, so that's really good.
It is funny.
Very interesting.
We've known each other for almost 2 years, I would say, and we've talked really very little, a little bit in chat here or there, but as far as like we've, except for you being on the show, talked where you could hear voices.
Yeah.
It's usually been like you listen to our show or us listening to your show.
Yeah.
So, and yes, Cheryl, this is going to be a regular thing, at least for a little bit while everybody's on quarantine. We're going to do it. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Once life gets back to normal, it might be a little harder to do this as regular, but we'll still do it on a regular basis. Just may not be every week.
You appreciate you guys tuning in too. It means a lot. You guys are very welcome.
So
wouldn't have them without you guys and our great guest, little Miss Beautiful Thing over there drinking her wine. I love it.
Thanks.
I love it. I love it.
all right, guys. Well, thanks so much for being with us. We got one more. Phil Holmes is on 2 a.m. here in England.
Hey, Phil.
Yeah, even after the virus thing's over, we'll still do some of these. It just might be like 2 a month or something instead of every week.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, we're really leaving this time. So, we will see y'all next week. Shelby, thank you for coming on back.
Thank you, Shelby.
Thank you
We
guys for
love you
having
guys.
me.
Oh, you're welcome. It's our pleasure. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys. We love y'all.